What up, y'all? Appreciate you showing up, hanging out, listening to my dumb ass. Like and subscribe. So, I wanted to talk about exclusivity. I've said things about it in the past, as far as what the current state of the industry is. But I was listening to Boom's show today, and C Money was there, and Hargeet was there. Shout out to all of y'all. And C Money, he went on a rant. He went on a super rant, and it was emotion filled, and I appreciated it. Although I agree with him on one respect, on the other side, I disagree. I'm kind of two minds about it. He's right, and at the same time, other things can be true. It's not complicated. It's just multifaceted. So basically, what he was saying, without the energy, of course, I'm not going to replicate that. He was saying that exclusives don't matter. Who cares as long as we get the games? Blah blah blah. You know, all the other stuff was semantics. All the other stuff was examples, but basically that was the gist of it. You know, doesn't matter what you say, what they say, what he say. Doesn't matter what they do. The games, we get the games. Doesn't matter if they're exclusive. Exclusives are dumb. Blah blah blah. That's it, right? And so I was like, all right, cool. I mean, there's no arguing against that, but at the same time, I've said this before, Sony and Nintendo have created an environment where exclusives do matter, only because of their business structure, right? Their console business structure, the fact that they need exclusives to sell their machine, right? Now, that's the case with any type of exclusivity as far as services. Like, you know, you go to Netflix because it had, what did it have? House of Cards, right? That was the first jump off. It was like, House of Cards, only on Netflix. Like, oh, snap. I got Netflix. I'll check it out. Or maybe I'll check out Netflix for a 7-day trial and then forget that I'm paying for it. You know, stuff like that. Or you go to Paramount Plus and say, oh, Transformers are there. I think they're on there. Or, you know, you go to Prime, you say, yo, I want to see the Legend of Vox Machina. You know what I'm saying? Or something like that. Or the whatchamacallit, the one that I'm watching now is from the same animation company and the same critical role. Yeah. What's it called? The Mighty Nine. Mighty Nine is the new one that they're doing. It's pretty good. But you know, there is something to that. An exclusive content stream will get a certain percentage of people to bite, to subscribe to that, to buy your box, That's how it was in the past. That's how the business was, basically. But that still exists. Yes, it does. But at the same time, I think Microsoft is in a different position because they are positioning their new box to be something more than a traditional console, which is a good thing because traditional console is antiquated, it's old, it's dinosaur time. And Phil said this years ago. He said, I think it was during that fireside, that roundtable that they had with Tina and Mini, and he said, I think the question was, why would people buy this Xbox over blah blah whatever else, right? And he said, it's not about. I don't think he said anything about the exclusive thing, but he said, we want people to buy the box because of what the box can do. I'm paraphrasing, obviously, but it's about the features. It's about what your box can do. And I'm looking at what they're planning, the Helix, and you know, got the league specs and all that stuff. But the possibility of it being an Xbox, regular old Xbox, but way better, and also a PC, full-blown PC. You know, you got Xbox mode, you got PC mode, or whatever. That is different. That there has not been a home console that has done that. Not to that extent. Not fully commit to both sides. And people calling it a hybrid, I think, is a little disingenuous. It's not correct. I mean, they can call it that because they lack the insight or the foresight or the vocabulary to be more accurate. Here's the accurate description. It's a console that can play PC games. That's it. That's it and that's all. How they make it play PC, how they make it act like a PC, that's the wizardry. That's Jason Ronald's thing. You know what I'm saying? You can say it's a hybrid if you want to. But the first Nintendo Switch was also a hybrid. Would you consider them the same? No. So when you're using these words, you have to take the precedent. The precedent was Nintendo Switch. That was a hybrid console. Why? Because it was a home console and a handheld console. That was the hybrid. So you just can't throw hybrid on everything because the Xbox Helix is not what the Nintendo Switch was. It's a different hybrid. So why are you calling it a hybrid? See how like these words get mixed up? Like, what do you mean hybrid? Then you got to explain more. Why don't you just say it's an Xbox that play PC game? That's shorter. It's easier to understand. You say hybrid, like what? What is it? Run on gas and electric? I don't understand what this console is. It's an Xbox that plays console games and PC games. Simple. Sorry for a little segue. Anyway, the whole exclusive thing and why it is the way that it is and why people are, I mean, it's a torn subject. People aren't on one side or on the other side. Ultimately, it doesn't matter to me because I'm still going to get the games. I'm still going to get the Xbox games that they make that I want. Boom, right? That's the most important thing, that I get the games that I want. Now, Sony and Nintendo are gatekeeping because they need to gatekeep in order to make their product look more alluring to the customers. The problem with what Xbox is having right now and what Sony is very good at is pretending and acting like Xbox doesn't exist. And when they do that with their marketing, with everything that they do public facing, it is transmitted, it is signaled to the public. And so they say, you know, oh snap, I saw the trailer for that game, and all you see is PlayStation and PC, no Xbox logo on the bottom. And even though it's a little quick, you know, couple second thing, subconsciously it imprints. Oh, not Xbox. Oop, no Xbox. All I see is PlayStation commercials. You notice, there's one thing, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I noticed it. During the powerful Asha's coming to her role as CEO, right? She, she's saying all these things are happening. She announced that the Project Helix, all that stuff. Everybody was like, oh yeah, and the hype was building. Xbox were all happy and stuff. We were all happy and stuff. You know what PlayStation did? They put a whole bunch more money into ads. All I saw was PlayStation ads. I ain't seen no Xbox ads. I'm talking about like on when I'm watching like YouTube or something, because I don't have YouTube Red or whatever. I was watching it because, and there's a reason why I don't have it. I do want to get it, but I don't have it because I want to pay attention to what the ads are. Like, am I going to see more PlayStation ads than Xbox ads? And yes, I do. They obviously put more into it. And so that part of their strategy does help maintaining that zeitgeist or that notion that Xbox is done or whatever. PlayStation is the place to go to play, the best place to, whatever. But ultimately, that's all well, I mean, they could spend as much money as they want, but honestly, ultimately, it's not about ads. It is, but it isn't. It's not about many things, but what it is about, first and foremost, the devs. And PlayStation has been clever in their money hatting this past generation. And they've been strategically money hatting things. And they failed a couple of times, publicly failed. Crimson Desert, they're like, nah, we don't want to do that. Stellar Blade dev, they bouncing. all of these devs see, we have to pay attention, right? These devs are seeing the writing on the wall. They say, okay, well, they say they sold 90 something million, but I'm looking at the books and we didn't sell 10%. We didn't sell any type of percentage on PlayStation Stellar Blade. What do we sell? 1.5 million? And they got 97, 87 million. How is this? We didn't even get to 3%. What? Huh? How? And the devs are waking up. And you think that, that's, ponies and unicorns are delusional because they're sitting there and they're thinking, we got 92 million. It sells so well on PlayStation. No, it doesn't. And the devs are waking up. Square Enix said, peace out, homie. We're going to go make some money. And they left 2. That's 3 of recent time. And so the thing about the dev community is it's not like it's isolated, it's only 3. No. They're all talking and they're all watching. They're all friends. And so they're like, the finance dude over here is like, yo, man, we ain't really, I can't give you the number, but yeah, we gonna multiply it because this ain't working out. It's like, word, should we? Yes, you should. Don't sign no exclusive nothing because they ain't paying. No, don't do it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. You're not gonna get paid. You're not gonna get your money. You're gonna be broke. Your studio's gonna close down. And they're like, yeah, let's do that, multiply. And so that leads to where we're coming up, Xbox Helix. And the need for Xbox to say, we want a Xbox Helix exclusive. They are proactively working to mitigate that whole thing where, they're going to be devs that skip the Xbox console. That's no longer going to be a thing that devs do because it'll literally be cheaper for them to make the game for Helix over PlayStation 6. Like, imagine this, and PlayStation 5 and 4. Like, imagine this, right? Devs, they're making a PC version, regardless. Unless PlayStation money hats it and makes it exclusive that way, they're publishing it, and then that's a whole different thing, But if devs are going to say, yeah, we're going to make a PC game, then we're going to put it on consoles, or we're going to do it all at the same time, if they make the PC version, it's almost like making the Xbox Helix version. They said there is a little bit of work, but I think rumor that I heard was, I don't know if it was the certification process or porting it, but they said half an hour, so that might be certification, but I'm not sure. But anyway, if you cut it down from 3 months to a half an hour, let's go. That's already a hurdle that devs is like, okay, cool, let's go. They did all these things, the PlayFab. They did so many things that are pro dev, and that was one of the main reasons why the 360 succeeded, because it was pro dev. It was so much easier for them to make games on the 360 than it was for the goofy ass PS3 with the cell processors and all that stuff. They was like, what the hell is this? It's got to go around the circle and back around, and I don't understand. What is this? They're like, yeah, it's cool, right? It's like, no, it's not cool. We gonna go over here and make a game. Y'all figure out how to make it easier. But that's what's happening, and I mean, you saw the little charts like PC, Xbox Helix, and I think it was the handheld LG. Well, I don't know if that's true, but as I understand it, the way that they're doing the GDK is that it'll also include the Xbox Series consoles. So they're actually including that as well to make it easier for the port to the older generation. And so I'm like, that's what's up. If you make it easy for the devs, they will make the games on your platform, period. If you have to do extra work, that was a whole thing with the Series S, because they were like, oh my gosh, because the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X are so similar that they could literally, this is what was happening this whole generation. They were optimizing for PlayStation 5 and then just brute forcing it over to the Series X because it was more powerful. You could brute force it without having to do too much work. But you can't do that with the Series S. You have to optimize it properly. And that's where The problem lies where they have to do more work. They need more time and money, and the publishers is like, nope, you're not getting more time. You ain't got no more money. That's it. And so it's not really the dev, it's the publisher not willing to, put that green on it. But now there's no excuse. If it's not on the Xbox Helix, it's because they don't want it on the Xbox Helix. Not because, it's too difficult. All those bullshit excuses that they used this generation. The 3Z, the S is so hard. Oh my gosh. It's like, yo, how about you optimize? How about you do, remember optimization? Y'all are forgetting. And that's one thing I got an issue with, not gonna say Paris. I got beef with NVIDIA because they're making these technologies that are allowing devs to be lazy. I don't like to say lazy devs are being lazy or whatever, because honestly that's not the case. It really is the publishers that are trying to cut corners and be more efficient, and I understand that. But by doing that, you're not doing the due diligence. You're not actually doing the work to optimize the game so that when you throw all that other stuff on, it looks way better. You're making half a game and then slapping all this FSR and DLSS on it to make it where it's supposed to be natively. And that's the problem. And so with this new DLSS 5, it makes it even more worse. I mean, granted, I don't know how much power it takes to run something like that. So that's probably a generation or two in the future. It's kind of promising. Like I said, the last video is if you can mix it in with actual optimization and just add that as like an extra little sprinkle on top to make it like super cinematic mode or whatever they say, like on Crimson Desert, then that's fine. But if they rely on it as a crutch, there's gonna be problems. I mean, sure, they can get the games out faster, but and you're gonna have the Unreal Engine problem where everything looks the same. But whatever, sorry, tangent. Exclusives. So exclusives are only necessary when you need people to buy into your ecosystem, if you will. If your number one priority is selling games, then you want to do multi-platform. You want to be on as many platforms as possible, because that's how you get more people. You get the most people on your system, in your ecosystem. And I'm like, okay, Asha, she's trying to bring Xbox back and all that good stuff. Where is she gonna go? Is she gonna put her foot down and say, yo, Satya, we gotta do some different stuff, all right? We trying to bring Xbox back like that. We want to sell more consoles than we did. You know what I'm saying? We want that, we want that perspective. We want all these things. So this is what we need to do. We need to pull some exclusives here. We do whatever. Either way, I don't care, because I'm still getting the games. If they say, okay, well, these high profile exclusive games aren't going to be in Game Pass for the first month or whatever, I'll be like, all right, that's cool. I'll wait a month. Then it slides in there and I'm like, cool. If you drop the price down to 20, I'm perfectly fine with that. If you keep the same price, but you don't give me more, you don't throw like World of Warcraft in there or something like that, then I might have a problem. Even I played WoW for like 2 seconds when it went free to play, like the free to play up to level 10 or something like that. I played it. I was like, oh, it's an MMO. Okay, it's fine. If it comes on console, I'll probably check it out again. But yeah, I don't think WoW's for me. I'm not an MMO type of dude. But anyway, sorry. But the exclusive thing, like I said, it's for people trying to sell plastic boxes. Specifically, that's the main, because Nintendo more so than Sony, but both of them lack the extensive ecosystem that Microsoft has. Microsoft has a giant ecosystem. One reason is because, Xbox. Second reason is because Windows. There are billions of PC gamers that game on Windows, which is Microsoft, which is kind of Xbox right now, because they're basically melding both divisions together in a way. Xbox mode on PC. So Sony has nothing like that. Sony doesn't have a OS that's popular, that's on 99% of the computers that exist on the planet. They don't have that. They don't have that advantage. That's an advantage, by the way. They don't have that. They could have had that, but they didn't work towards that. They're just a hardware company, I guess. They suck at software, so they're just hardware. I don't know. Whatever the reasoning is on their side not to pursue. I mean, look at Steam. They went all in with Linux. Even though Linux isn't theirs, that's what they're using, I think. And so it's not impossible, you know. And you can, if Sony wanted to, they could use Linux because it's open platform, and they could make their own OS if they wanted to. But they don't want to. They don't want to invest in that. And so they, instead of trying to muscle in or squiggle in to that market of OS, PC, right? They said, nah. They gave up. They used to make hardware. They gave up. They were making hardware with Microsoft OSs on their computers. Come on, son. So Sony gave up. I mean, just like they gave up the TVs to TCL. They gave up computers. They gave up TVs. What else are they going to give up? It's only a matter of time. I mean, they might as well give up consoles. Sell 51% to Apple, and just sit back and let Apple make all the consoles, and they just collect a check. That's what they did with the TV division. They might as well do that, because you know they acting like they selling all these consoles, but all I hear is shipped. All I hear is manufactured. And they say, oh, we have 120 something, I think 120 something million MAUs, or it might be a little bit higher, but I'm like, okay. It should be higher than that, right? Because you got almost 100,000, and you're supposed to have like 50 PS4s. That's not including PC. But I guess they don't play on PC because your games suck. I'm sorry. I mean, some people like them. You know, I'm sure they're cool. I'm not saying they're garbage. But as far as games that are successful, they don't make those. If you notice, like look at the game. Look at how much they're selling. You say, "Oh, but Spider-Man, not Sony's game. They made it. It's Marvel's game that Sony happened to make." So Marvel said, "You know what? You can make the game. Go ahead, make the game." Sony's claiming it like it's theirs. It's not theirs. It's Marvel's. It's Marvel's Spider-Man. It says Marvel's Spider-Man literally on the documentation, on the cover, everything. It says Marvel's Spider-Man. It doesn't say Sony's Spider-Man because it's not Sony's. And people just don't understand. I swear. I remember telling y'all I had this argument with a person that didn't know that Marvel owns Spider-Man. She's like, no, Sony owns Spider-Man, the movies. And I'm like, they have the rights to make the movie of the character that is owned by Disney. And she's like, no. And then she pull up on Google, and it says Sony owns the rights to Spider-Man. I'm like, yeah, they own the movie rights to make they don't own the IP. That's the whole point. So they still have to pay Marvel. And people don't get it. They're like, yeah, Wolverine. Yeah, Sony owns Wolverine. Like, no, how does Sony own Wolverine? Huh? It says Marvel's Wolverine on that. Pay attention. And it could be exclusive. I mean, look, Marvel could be like, nah, that's not going to be exclusive. Not this time. Is Blade going to be exclusive? I mean, look, I say eye for an eye. If they're gonna gatekeep these Marvel franchises, I think Xbox should do the same thing. You know, like we have discussed, and this is what C Money's point was. People, the casuals, are not buying these exclusive games. I would say that exception is Spider-Man because it is such a popular character. But for the most part, they're playing Fortnite. They're playing Roblox. They're playing Call of Duty. They're playing Madden. They're playing FIFA. They're playing these games. These multiplayer games are always on top of the most played, most bought lists all the time. And so the problem with that exclusive thing is that it doesn't apply to first-party games. Unless it's like, oh my gosh, it's a crazy odd banger thing that's crazy, and but we haven't had one of those in a while. Crimson Desert could have been that, but it's been getting kind of middling reviews. So I was gonna pick it up, but then I saw the reviews and I haven't seen any Xbox footage yet. So if I see some Xbox footage and I'm like, all right, cool, maybe. But honestly, I'm waiting for Fable. I want Fable. I'm gonna get Fable. What else? And I'll just wait for Crimson Desert to like go on sale or whatever, and I'll cop it later. But that's one of those games. That's a 200-hour game. I'm not in a rush to start anything like that right quick, especially when they're probably still fixing bugs and stuff. So it's all good. But this whole exclusive rhetoric, this whole exclusive thing that's kind of popping off right now is it's part of the old way. And I think it's not really about the exclusives per se, but it's about, once again, like Dirt says, it's about the perception of exclusivity. It's about the perception of making PlayStation irrelevant. And I think that Xbox has the upper hand. Xbox Helix has the upper hand because it's a console that can play PC games. It makes the PlayStation 6 irrelevant. It's like if you have the two boxes in front of you and you're like, this one does way more, and then that one's just a console that's just like the other consoles. It's like, man, more powerful, and then you look at the prices, right? And you're like, okay, that one's PlayStation 6, I'm calling it now, at least $800. So $799, right? Out the jump. Might be $849, let's be real. If they want to be greedy, which they will, $899. The Project Helix, everybody's like, $1,200 to $1,500. And I'm like, look, depends on the specs. If it got 48 gigs of RAM and it's got and it's got 5080 performance, and I'm like, I'll give them 12 for that. Shoot, I gotta spend 2-3 times that for a computer comparable. So, and if it's a computer as well, if it can do the computer things, that's a first. I mean, curiosity alone, I'm like, yeah, I want to see what the heck that thing is, and then we'll go from there. But like, if it can do the things, if I can get the I mean, honestly, look, for real, I said this in a previous video. The Xbox Series consoles can do that. It has developer mode. You can go in. They have a store. You can get the apps. You can get MAME. You can get all these different emulators and put them on your Xbox today. It literally does what a PC does. So they were already making inroads in this type of hybrid approach. Hybrid device, if you will. I don't want to use that word too much because that's not what it is. But they were making inroads to have those functionality, those PC functionality. And so I'm like, okay, they literally did. I believe that they can actually do it on the series consoles right now. It's just a matter of put the app on there, let them give us access to the app. I mean, they can do it. It's just a matter of if they want to do it. That's what I'm saying. And then how do the resources react to that? And it's a bunch of, they would have to rewrite the OS on that, definitely. But I mean, that's what they're doing now anyway. So, but yeah, there's a lot of different kind of movements that are happening on Xbox, the Xbox Helix and everything. And it's like, when you look at the two boxes, it's like, I would pay more for what it's doing because it's doing way more than just being a console. Oh, that's just a regular old wiggity whack console. I'm gonna get the Helix because it could do everything. It could play all the games. I'm playing Spider-Man on my Helix. That's how it's gonna be. Because PlayStation ain't taking their games on PC. $2 billion is $2 billion. How they gonna? they cannot justify taking their games off of PC to the CFO of Sony. They cannot. If they're trying to make that 10% margin, they can't do it. They don't sell enough games to do that. Marathon is failing right now. Marathon is dying a slow death. And it's about perception. It was DOA, basically. The fact that it's not a horrible game is what's keeping it alive right now. It's not. When they have to beg and be like, yo, don't review it yet, because you know you're gonna get a 7. Don't review it yet. Wait until we add some more stuff to it so it can maybe get a higher score. I hope that they don't get a higher score. I mean, look, I generally don't hope for companies to fail and stuff, but this is some bullshit. All right, you how you gonna sit here and say, oh, okay, I'm sorry. We already talked about that. Anyway, I appreciate you hanging on the show, man. Like and subscribe. Hit me up in the comment below. Let me know what you think about the exclusives. Are they necessary? Do you want them back? Do you not want them back? Does Xbox need them? Do you think they will do it? And do you think it's a fair argument to kind of pit the PlayStation's exclusive mentality versus Xbox's exclusive mentality based off of the upcoming console offerings? And that's all I got, but I appreciate. I'll talk to you on the next one. Tweet.